What's going on, Washington Commanders Nation? Today is Wednesday, May 22nd, and Washington entered its second week of OTAs since the rookies and the veterans intertwined to mix it up for these OTA practices. We started week two, second session of our OTAs, and the vibes are immaculate in Ashburn as of now. We all know how things go once the season gets out there, but everything is positive surrounding this team. And that's not something I'm used to saying as a 32-year-old fan here. We're getting rave reviews about the quarterback, the coaching staff, and the monstrous front office that Adam Peters has been putting together since he touched down in Washington in January. And the hits keep coming in, man. I'm so excited. This is exciting as it's been for a fan of my age demographic. And I know we've been excited before, but this is different. Like when you see clips of players at practice, when you get excited about what's currently on the roster, there's going to be a part of you that says, I've seen us look good in practice before. I've seen us overpromise and underdeliver. I'm not falling for that again. But you'd be remiss to not see that this is totally different than the last 25 years. Nothing is guaranteed. We are not guaranteed to thrive, succeed, prosper, none of the above. But if you can't see that the setup and outfit of this operation is significantly improved, professional, well-liked, qualified, all of the above more than the predecessors of the last 25 years, then I don't know what the hell to tell you. You're just being negative just to be negative. Being pessimistic and cautiously optimistic, I get, but if you can't recognize how different shit feels here right now, you need to take that shit elsewhere because the vibes are at an all-time high right now. The quarterback, Jayden Daniels, everything we've heard about this guy since drafting him makes me want to run through a wall. I don't buy players' jerseys. I'm buying a Jayden jersey. I might buy one for the whole family, both kids. They don't even watch football like that. Make it them for all of us. I love this kid. Everything we've heard about him since drafting him has been nothing short of yes. He just sounds like that overly eager, kind of sociopathic competitor. Like someone that guys can't relate to because he's so competitive and works so hard on his craft. Come on, the dude was on the jet on the way to Ortho Virginia Training Center at Commanders Park after he got drafted, lining up plays from our offense. The guy beats everyone to the facility. Jonathan Allen said he has made it a thing to be the first one at the facility since he's got to Washington. He said Jayden beats him there every day. And this tracks because it goes back to LSU where they said he had Bama's out there at 5:30 a.m. going over plays and shit. You see why the dramatic increase happened. Jayden just wasn't about that college life for real, for real. Let's keep it a whole buck. He didn't want to go to class. That nigga was not trying to go to class. He just wanted to play football. He wanted to be a professional football player, professional quarterback extraordinaire. He wasn't with all that class shit, and I ain't mad at him. I was good at school, but I didn't like school. I was really good at it. I got good grades, but wasn't a fan of it. Didn't want to be there. He wanted to keep the main thing the main thing. When he moved on past school and was just there for football, the results came in. This dude just wants to play football, and the aura is untouched, unmatched. The swagger, he just exudes of athletic arrogance. I like a guy that is not afraid to talk about what he's capable of. Like I was watching him at the rookie premiere over the weekend. They were asking guys stupid ass questions like, how many yards would you go for on a JV high school football team or some shit like that? And Jayden was like, I mean, I went for 600. I went for almost 700 on them boys right there last year. So I guess I'd do 1,000. He was talking to Ricky Pearsall because, Jayden threw for over 350 and ran for over 250 on the Florida Gators last year. He looks great in the uniform. If you didn't see the pictures from the rookie premiere, I'll put them up on screen. The boy looks phenomenal. The drip is real. The number 5 looks gorgeous. And the ball placement untouched. That man, I know it's practice. I know it's throwing against air, but I say this all the time. You know how many quarterbacks have come in and out of this building that was throwing the ball to Jesus on air, throwing it to the pearly gates, to the clouds, throwing that shit over the building in practice? I've seen many come and go that threw incompletions on air, whose mechanics look bad with no defense on the field. I know it's a clean pocket, no defenders rushing you, no 340-pound men in your hip pocket, but you can see the traits. I knew CJ Stroud was going to be good in this league because you can see it. With some guys, you can see it. I ignored the whole Ohio State narrative because look at his feet. Look at the footwork. Look at the way he moves. Look at the way his hips move. Look at the way his eyes move. He's a processor. I always said CJ Stroud had Drew Brees like mechanics in college. That you can't replicate. That's going to translate to the next level. Jayden Daniels looks refined as hell. He started 55 games in college, and it looks like it. He looks like his eyes are always aligned with his lower body. It looks like the entire base is married, and the throwing motion is gorgeous. The release, lightning fast, and it looks good. He threw a pass to Jahan Dotson in practice today over very tight coverage, dropped it right in the bucket, right in the honey hole, in stride. Things we love to see here. Mariota had a nice completion to Terry McLaurin today. Don't want to talk too much about Mariota, but, you know, he going to do what he do. He's a vet. Also won a Heisman. Also was the second pick of the draft. If push comes to shove, I'm sure he wouldn't necessarily throw up on himself, but let's be honest with ourselves. We do not expect, anticipate, nor do we want to see Marcus Mariota touch a football field in 2024. Jonathan Allen, just a few months ago, was on the Junkies, ready to throw it all away here in Washington. I got to reevaluate myself, man. I'd be foolish not to say that me and my agents need to have a discussion about my future here in D.C. I want to win. Let's look at Jonathan Allen's comments today. He's in a whole new Washington. It almost feels like he plays for an expansion team. Jonathan Allen, word for word, verbatim. I'm just so happy. I love the coaching staff. I love the direction we're moving in. I love the way we're working. It has truly been reinvigorating and just so fun to come to work every day. This is literally a dream job right now. This is coming from a guy who didn't want to be here a couple months ago. That says a lot. He's buying into the program. And as one of the 3 to 5 best players on the roster, that's what you want to hear. You know, everybody has something to prove, and we're all pushing towards the same direction. I think that's going to be so great for us. Everybody has the same motivation. We're all chasing the same goal, and we're all pushing each other to get there. That is word for word what our captain, Jonathan Allen, has to say about this 2024 constructed Commanders team. We're watching videos of Bobby Wagner being a vocal leader on this team. Dan Quinn even talked about it in his presser today about how much vocal leadership from the player, about how the locker room means everything. If the locker room culture ain't right, it's not going to translate this shit on the football field. These guys need to be on the same page. There needs to be a cohesion and a synergy between the players in the locker room. We have veteran leadership all over this roster now. Not all of these guys are going to be here for forever, but they are here to establish an identity and a culture. Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner, guys like that. They're going to be huge for the development of younger players here. Speaking of younger players, our rookie class, guys like Brandon Coleman competing at the left tackle spot with Cornelius Lucas. I need Brandon Coleman to be a left tackle. He looks more tackly than I anticipated since seeing him in a practice uniform and seeing him work out with the guy. The guy's massive. He definitely looks like a left tackle. Emmanuel Forbes, second-year cornerback. Punt returner Emmanuel Forbes. We really about to put this bony ass boy back here at punt returner. We know he was a specialist of taking shit back to the crib in college. It was not punts, it was interceptions, but maybe someone has the foresight that, you know what? What if he's not exactly what we think he could be at corner? What if we put him at punt returner? Just let him field punts. That terrifies me because just the thought of someone coming downhill 100 miles per hour and Forbes catching a punt and him just getting hit before he has a chance to make a move, it terrifies me. That boy looks 130 pounds in uniform. He's the smallest looking player. He made me really come to terms with Jayden is not that skinny. When you look at Emmanuel Forbes in regular clothes and in uniform, you realize, oh, Jayden's going to be just fine in this league. Because Jayden looks like Josh Allen next to Emmanuel Forbes. Emmanuel Forbes does not fill out his football uniform. Him at punt returner, the speed and the instincts, I get it, but it absolutely terrifies me. He got head topped, dunked on by Diami in practice today. Diami Brown mossed Emmanuel Forbes. I mean, it's one-on-ones. In practice, offensive drills, one-on-ones, they're designed for the offensive player to win. So I'm not going to beat up anybody for losing in their matchups during practice, but it is a huge season for both of those guys I just named. Diami Brown, because we need to prove that he's going to be a solidified member of this roster after that 53 comes out. And Emmanuel Forbes, as a first-round pick, we need to see something out of this guy because out of all teams that could have picked him, the guys running the show here had interest in him. They had a plan for Emmanuel Forbes in Dallas. Joe Witt and Dan Quinn were anticipating Forbes falling to Dallas before Washington took him earlier than the entire world expected him to go in 2023 in the first round of the draft, where we took him 16th. If you can't get right with these guys coaching, you're not going to make it in this league. Huge year for both of those guys, but we're not going to take too much away from what's happening on the practice field. It's more so the vibes, the cohesion, the communication, and most importantly, how is the quarterback developing? Jayden's getting those number one snaps, most of the number one snaps. We love to hear how he's progressing, how he's taking command of the offense. They said he's already making adjustments at the line. He's already coaching guys through things. He already has a command, pun intended, of the offense. You love to hear that. The Jayden Daniels show begins. We're back at it for the next 2 days for some more OTA practices. It doesn't seem like there's too much information coming out from the media or the team side of things. So that's all I took from today's practice. But I'm just excited to hear what's going, what the vibes are like, the atmosphere is like around this team right now. The offense is going to be a work in progress. And if anything I know is going to be a guarantee, it's that the defense is going to be significantly upgraded going into the 2024 season. Next video to drop, Washington is going to be doing joint practices. With who? We'll discuss it in the next video. And we possibly could be doing more than one joint practices when it comes to the preseason of 2024. But that's all I got for right now. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Sub up the channel, like, comment, subscribe, and hail to the Washington Commanders. Until next time, Commander Rio, out.